It's been 30 years since I discovered Final Fantasy, and I've been playing them ever since. Now, before Final Fantasy Rebirth comes out, here are my top 10 Final Fantasies of all time. Hey guys, my name is David Roman. I'm the author and illustrator of the Eternal Horizon series. And sometimes I play games. So when I say sometimes, I mean every night, pretty much. Half an hour to an hour a day. I am not a gamer, but I'm always constantly playing games. Specifically Final Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, I love to work out. I look like a toxic male. But I'm really a nerd on the inside. I mean, each and every one of us are. But Final Fantasy is one of my guilty pleasures. I love it. I discovered it in 1994, exactly 30 years ago. And I've been playing them ever since. That's my thing. When Final Fantasy comes out, I gotta stop everything and I gotta play it. How I'm gonna do this list is, I'm not gonna count the spin-offs like Final Fantasy X2, 13, Part 2, Part 3. I'm not gonna count all those. I'm not really gonna count the remasters, and I'm not counting the online ones, the MMORP. I know Final Fantasy 14 can be played as single player, but I haven't even played it, alright? I mean, I played all of them except the online one. I don't do that. I don't do the MMO. I can't say that word. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Fuck out of here. I've been playing this for 30 years. I played over 70 RPGs. But I want to remind you that these are my opinions, okay? I know a lot of people are going to hate this. A lot of people are going to comment, cuss me out. I mean, it's okay if you do it, it gets the algorithm going. But just bear in mind with me, this is my opinion, okay? So take it with a grain of salt or whatever the saying is. I'm a foreigner, alright? Give me a fucking break. Okay, so starting with number 10, it's Final Fantasy 3, because I believe the first time it ever came to US, it came as a DS port, and that's where I got it, Final Fantasy 3, and I played it for DS, and I loved it. It was great. It was way better than Final Fantasy 1. It was actually better than some of the Final Fantasies that are not on this list, some of the great number ones. It was a simple game, you get to choose your classes, but then you could change your jobs throughout the game, which you couldn't do in Final Fantasy 1. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, if you have a DS, if you're 3DS, I guess, I should definitely recommend you check it out. Check out Final Fantasy 3. Number 9, number 8, they're pretty much on the same level, but I chose one over the other, and I explain why. Number 9 will be Final Fantasy 13. I have all three of them. Now, Final Fantasy 13 is like, I think that's the first one for PlayStation 3. And I was waiting for it for so long. I was so excited. And when I finally got it, I was really disappointed because it was linear. I mean, yeah, once you get to Grand Falls, it's not linear. You can run around, you can power up. But technically, it's a linear game. It's a linear game, and like, I felt like PlayStation 3 already had the power for an open world game, and they didn't want to do that. They just wanted to create an episodic game, It was even more linear than 10 was. Well, I don't even want to count 12. 12, yeah, I mean, 12 wasn't as linear, but it was pretty episodic. It was linear. It's like you couldn't even go back to some of the areas in 13. It's like, yeah, you couldn't even go back to the first planet Cocoon at all at some point. But the reason it made the list because I love the characters. I love, like, oh my god, I love Fang. Oh my god, every time he showed up, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so sexy, man. See, I'm all about these bitches, man. Ooh, pardon my French. I'm all about these women, man, strong women that can wrestle and shit, Because I'm a toxic man, whatever. But my boy, the nerd, he was all like, oh my god, Vanille, oh my god, Sarah. I'm like, what the fuck's the matter with you, man? They're like little tiny girls, oh my god, I broke my, They probably cover their mouth when they laugh and shit. I like Fang boy, Fang bad. Okay, let's keep moving. Number 8 is Final Fantasy 16. Like I said, it was a close call between that and 13, alright? And I just recently beat it. I waited 2 years to get a PlayStation 5 because of this game. I was like, oh, Final Fantasy is gonna come out. And I was disappointed. And I see a lot of people attacking they got attacked on YouTube for my review. I got attacked on Twitter for stating this because it did not feel like a Final Fantasy game. And everyone was like, well, what do you mean it doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy? How does Final Fantasy feel? It's supposed to be an open world game, okay? It's supposed to have an airship, and like it's supposed to have like a world map that you can't, like, I don't know, man. Well, Final Fantasy 16, I felt like it was a 50-hour cutscene with minimal play. There were some cutscenes like with when you get to play as Eidolons, we play as Phoenix and Efrit, and like those were just button mashing, you know. Combined with the cutscenes, some of them were like hour long. I felt like I was playing like a Final Fantasy spin-off. I didn't feel like I was playing a numbered Final Fantasy game. I wanted to, like, we were already at PlayStation 5. Last time we had an open world was like, well, 15 they tried. I'll get there. But yeah, it's like, there's like 4 areas and they're not connected. You hit a wall and you have to teleport through the map, and like, it's like, why couldn't you have an airship? And the technology's there. Like, why can't they make a game like The Witcher in a Final Fantasy setting with like... But yeah, you could only play as Clive. I mean, I like the fighting. Other people complain about combat. I love the combat. I love the lore. I love the story. That's why I scored it higher than 13. The story felt more Final Fantasy-like, okay? It felt more medieval. It was really, really inspired by Game of Thrones. Great story, you know, overall. It belongs here on this list at number 8. But like I said, they could have done a better job. It did not feel like a Final Fantasy to me. I don't know. Next on my list, and I know I'm gonna get a lot more hate for this, especially for people who were born in 1985 and 1990, between those years. Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy IX came out when I already graduated high school. I was 19 years old. Like, I was kind of like slowly going away from video games because I was going out every night. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, you know. I had a really bad past, man. Like, I don't want to remember. I mean, I played it. I loved it because it went back to the original roots. It felt like a real Final Fantasy after 7 and after 9, which were more sci-fi games. This was more a fantasy game. But like, I kind of felt like it's geared toward the younger audience. I didn't really feel it when I was like 18. I mean, I played it, I beat it. I thought Kujo was a stupid bad guy, man. I mean, it's like, and then they pulled the little Ghost in the Machine with the last boss. I mean, it was fun, as in it was an open world game, kinda, you know. It had a world map, it had the airship, it had all the elements. It had the chocobos and whatnot. It had all the elements. But I'm sorry I did not score it higher because I don't know. Will I play the remake? Maybe. The story was pretty good, you know. The ending's fantastic. But overall, man, it's like, nah, it's a Final Fantasy. I mean, it's better than 13 and 16. Definitely better than 3. But it belongs there, number 7. Okay? I'm sorry. Number 6 is Noctis and the Boys, Final Fantasy 15. Oh my god. Waited for this game for almost a decade. When I first found out it was going to come out as 13 verses. And it came out, and I watched the movie. I was really excited for it, and I fucking loved this game. In the beginning, I loved this game. I loved the boys, I loved the gang, I loved the traveling. I was just so adamant on exploring this huge map. And then you go from the left side of the map to the right side. I mean, from the right side to the left, because the Japanese, you know, they read their manga the other way around. So I figured they start on the right-hand side, they build up all those little towns, areas. And once it goes to the left side of the map, there's all these inaccessible areas. They're literally fenced off. You can't access them. So I was like, wait a minute, man, why would they do this? And as I kept playing, it's like the game starts speeding up. And once you get to the boat, you know what I'm talking about, right? You get to the boat, you cannot go back. And the game is like keep going, and the only way you can go back is through a dream sequence. With it's like, I thought that was really stupid. Okay, I thought it was really stupid. Okay, and you don't even get an airship at all. You can get a flying car, but you can only get that after you beat the boss last game. I mean last boss, and you have to restart and then go to another dungeon, get the engine. I thought that could have been done such a better job, you know. And this is the first open world Final Fantasy since 9. Okay, they tried it. It was right there, but it was so close. And I felt like they just gave it up last minute and it was like rushed ahead and released it. The story was even better than 16, okay? I'm sorry, I love Noctis and the Boys so much better than I like 5. Very, very sad ending. Like, they were like the Ninja Turtles. Did anyone feel like they were like the Ninja Turtles? Gladio was like Raph, Noctis was like Leo, like a sissy Leo. Prompto was like Michelangelo. And Igni was Donnie, but I definitely liked it better than 13 and 16. But like I said, you know, it's an unfinished game. They could have done a better job. Okay, here comes the top 5. Here comes the big boys, and I hope this light is not fucking up my video. I think it is, isn't it? Well, whatever. Number 5 is Final Fantasy X. Love me Final Fantasy X. Didn't play this game till about 2 years after it came out because, like I said, I was doing drugs. I was hanging out with wrong people, man. I didn't want to play games, you know. But finally got to it. I was like, oh my god, this is what I was missing. Episodic, linear. I mean, yeah, you could access the areas back, but it's like a board game. You know, once you get the airship, you can just go. Boop, 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 boop. It's like, what's the point of accessing again? It's like a board game. I mean, I don't know. The story is just so deep. I felt like they should never come out with X2 because it kind of ruins the story of the X. One of the best stories I've ever played. I've actually painted, I did an homage to this. So I'm gonna show it right here. This is a Yuna and Sen painting that I did called Deliver Us from Sen in 2015. I have the soundtrack on my iPod. I love the story. Titus, Waka, Kimahri, all these characters. It's like I just love the story so much and the music, and like I played it twice, I believe, you know. And the combat, the tag team, you can call the other person. That definitely, even though it's a linear game, like I said, if it was an open world game, oh my god, man. This definitely needs a remaster right there. If they remaster this, not the like the remake, not the remaster. If they remake this in like the 7 with an open world, can you imagine how awesome it would be? Blitzball and Sen. Oh man, I would definitely buy that. Next one is Final Fantasy VI, or as I played it back in the day, as Final Fantasy III, because you know. If you were back then, if you were alive back then, you know what I'm talking about already. Got this game about a year after I discovered Final Fantasy 2, which is 4. It's confusing. I remember my save had over 100 hours. It was the first game I spent over 100 hours because I had to get 9,999 HP for every character, okay? And there were a lot of characters if you played this game. This game was fun. This game revolutionized kind of like Final Fantasy genre, okay? I mean, 4 was amazing, but 6 just like, whoa. I mean, it was like it hit the mainstream like no other game. The music, the opening, the characters, there's so many characters. I know Terra is supposed to be the main character, but there's Edgar, there's Sabin, there's Shadow, there's Cyan. There's so many like amazing, memorable characters. There's Celes and the opera scene, the opera music, and there's humor elements like with Ultron, the whale, Ultron, the octopus. Kefka is like the Joker-like psychotic villain. So yeah, definitely deserves the number 4. Number 3 is a Final Fantasy I beat the most out of all the Final Fantasies. It's the first one I discovered in 1994 when I rented this game in Albertsons, back when Albertsons was around in Florida. Final Fantasy II, aka Final Fantasy IV, okay? This is my first true RPG. I've never played an RPG before. I was like, what the fuck is this turn-based crap? And like, I was like, oh my god, this is it? And but the story kept me going. If it wasn't for the story, I would have gave up because I thought it was stupid, you know, like you have to choose the command or whatnot. The story was so deep and so like, I keep saying amazing, so I'm not gonna use that word again. It just kept me going. It kept me going. I wanted to, you know more about Kain. I felt bad for Kain, my favorite character. I even painted Kain. Okay, here's my painting called Knights of Baron, and Knights, you know, play on words. He's over there standing in the corner moping while Edgar and Rose are about to do their thing in the tower, whatever. He'll be alright. So yeah, Kain, did I say Edgar? I mean Cecil. Damn man, I'm confusing my characters. Yeah, Cecil, Rosa, Rudia, and it's like I beat this game twice or 3 times on SNES. Then I got a 3D version for DS. I beat that as well. I preferred that one actually. And then I played the PlayStation version on the PSP, but I was playing with the After Years bundle. I love the story so much. It got me into Final Fantasy in 1994, and I've never stopped, okay? I've never stopped ever since. Golbez, it's just like, I know he's not the main bad guy, but he's like a Darth Vader type of character, you know? That story was just out of this world. It showed me what RPGs can do. Because like I said, before this game, the only RPG I played was Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and it's technically an action RPG, right? It's not really an RPG. And this one introduced me to Final Fantasy, introduced me to RPGs in general, and it has a special place in my heart. Number 2 is Final Fantasy VII. Okay, you knew it was coming, okay? I love Final Fantasy VII. I mean, what can I say? I beat it 3-4 times or something. Maybe 3 times. I'm not gonna say 4 times. 3 times. The 3rd time I remember I did everything except for beating the Ruby weapon because I knew there was a trick. I never got to it. I got so frustrated I gave up. But yeah, I mean, I spent so many hours on that game. I played the remake. It was alright. I gave it like 8.5 out of 10 because like, I mean, I felt like it was really linear. I didn't feel like it was an open world. Hopefully Rebirth will be better, but I know it's going to be a continuation. But of course I'm going to play it for a time though, right? The story of Final Fantasy VII, what can I say, you know? The story is so deep. Aerith dying, Zack. I also played Crisis Core, by the way. Fantastic game, but like I said, I'm not counting spin-offs. Zack, you know, hopefully they'll bring Zack back for gameplay in Rebirth. Just love the story overall, and everybody loves the stories. It's the greatest Final Fantasy there is, you know. Like I said, some of these games are better than the other games. It doesn't mean it's my favorite Final Fantasy, but this is probably one of the best RPGs ever made, if not the best. Some people think they're best. I think Chrono Trigger is better. I think Witcher 3 is better, but I'm sorry. I mean, but when it comes to Final Fantasy, it's probably the greatest. But let's go to my number 1 Final Fantasy, and you know what it is. You know it's coming, okay? Final Fantasy VIII, man. Final Fantasy VIII is my number 1. And I know you're hating right now. You're like, oh my god, how could he do this? Yeah, motherfucker, I'm doing this, alright? Motherfucker, I got a CD symbol tattooed right here, man. Right here, I have an Armenian cross, right? But within the cross, if you look really deep, you'll see I have Cypher's Cross of St. James tattoo right there in between because I love this game so much, man. You know why? Because I was 17 when the game came out. I was 17 just like Squall and them guys, alright? For me, for a 17-year-old David, that shit hit me like a brick of steel, man. Like, I was like, oh my god, this game is so deep. I am totally Squall, man. You know, like, I am this loner guy. I was just a foreign kid in high school. Nobody wanted to hang out with me, whatever. But, like, it hit me so much. Like, I'm a romantic. You know, I'm 42 years old, I'm still looking for my soulmate. I'm still searching for my soulmate, alright? And I thought I found her, but you know, every time I think I find her, you know what happens, right? Whatever. But yeah, this game hit me like just on a deep level, and I loved it so much. I beat it like 2-3 times. And then about 10 years ago, I first heard about the Ultimecia Rinoa theory. And just like, it makes so much more sense. And I believe it, man. I believe it. I think she's Ultimecia from Rinoa from the future. I definitely think so, man. I don't want the artist that, no, that's not true, but he's an artist, fuck if you know it. If you play this game with that in mind, that Ultimecia is Rinoa from the future, who lost her memories, it'll make a lot more sense, okay? And I definitely need to do it again. But yeah, Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII is my thing. I love it so much. I think I have like a Squall necklace, Lionheart necklace somewhere. I've painted this. Here's my piece from 1999 actually. I just painted them on acrylic on paper. But then again, I painted this as an adult. In 2015, I did this piece called I'll Be Your Knight. And you'll see it has Cypher on the bottom, with Squall, Rinoa becoming an angel, and then the Ultimecia is the other angel with black wings. And you know, when you first start the game, in the beginning of the game, when Rinoa's running into Squall's arms, you'll see black feathers flying around, right? That's your Ultimecia, whatever. There's clues everywhere, man. I might do a video about the clues, but wait, I gotta show you something else. I got the whole gang. I know I need to dust them up. I got the whole gang right here. Cypher, Irvine, Quistis, Squall, Rinoa, Zell, Selphie, and Mr. Laguna, even though he's not part of the gang. I know there's an idea somewhere. I need to order a idea. I need to order Ultimecia. But this is a gang, and it's a good thing I took this down. I'm gonna dust this off. I love me Final Fantasy VIII. So this was my list of my top 10 favorite Final Fantasies after 30 years of playing. Let me know what you think. I mean, now don't crucify me too much, alright? Because I think 8 is the greatest one. Okay, like I told you, I'm a little biased towards this game because I was 17 when it came out and I felt it. Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe. Check out my Twitch channel. I'm gonna stream Final Fantasy Rebirth the second it comes out. If you want to support me, check out Eternal Horizon. It's like sci-fi. It's inspired by Star Wars, the original Star Wars only, not the new ones. The original Star Wars and Flash Gordon. It's for middle schoolers. It's about a guy lost in space. It's available on Amazon. I also have a children's book out called Juba and the King of the Jungle. And I hope you enjoy Final Fantasy Rebirth because I surely am looking forward to it.